One of the greatest dangers of living alone is the possibility of a health emergency going unnoticed. A stroke, a fall, or even something as simple as low blood sugar can become life-threatening if hours or days pass before someone finds out. That's why having a daily check-in system can mean the difference between safety and tragedy. Walter, a 75-year-old retired carpenter, valued his independence but also recognized his vulnerability. After hearing too many stories of seniors discovered only after serious accidents, he decided not to take chances. He set up a simple routine with his neighbor Joe. Each morning, he sends Joe a quick text, sometimes just 2 words, "All good." If Joe doesn't hear from him by a set time, he knows to stop by and check in. That tiny action created a safety net that costs nothing but could save Walter's life. The power of a check-in system lies in its simplicity. It doesn't require major lifestyle changes, expensive equipment, or constant supervision. It's just a small habit that ensures someone notices if you're in trouble. Think of it as a lifeline that protects you without taking away your independence. There are many ways to make this work. For some, it's as easy as a daily phone call with a trusted neighbor or friend. For others, technology provides even more security. There are check-in apps that send alerts if you don't respond, or smart home devices that track movement and notify contacts when something seems off. Whether it's a text, a quick call, or a simple wave from the porch, the important thing is consistency. When it becomes routine, you never have to wonder if someone will notice when something goes wrong. Beyond health emergencies, a check-in system can even protect against scams or suspicious situations. If Walter ever receives a questionable phone call or has someone come to the door unexpectedly, he runs it by Joe first. That second opinion often prevents costly mistakes. Just knowing there's another set of eyes and ears looking out for you reduces stress and gives you confidence in handling everyday challenges. The real beauty of this system is that it allows seniors to keep their independence while still having a safety net. You don't need to move in with family, hire constant help, or give up control of your daily life. Instead, you add one small layer of protection that ensures you're not navigating life completely alone. And this isn't just for older adults, even younger people with health concerns or those who live in isolated areas can benefit from a similar plan. Emergencies don't discriminate by age, and a simple check-in can bring peace of mind to anyone. Walter once admitted that before setting up this system, he would sometimes feel nervous at night. He'd wonder, what if I fall tomorrow morning while I'm alone in the kitchen? After he and Joe began their routine, that fear disappeared. He knew that help would come quickly if he ever needed it. That confidence gave him not only safety but also the freedom to enjoy life more fully. Living alone doesn't have to mean living without support. A daily check-in system is like a safety harness. You hope you never need it, but you'll be grateful it's there when the unexpected happens. Walter made sure that important information was always easy to find. He labeled his cell phone contacts with ICE, short for, in case of emergency. This way, if emergency responders ever found his phone, they'd know immediately whom to call. Many seniors don't realize that this option already exists in most smartphones. You can program emergency contacts that are accessible even when your phone is locked. For someone living alone, that tiny setup can save hours of dangerous delay. The next step he took was even more crucial. He invested in a medical alert device. Phones are helpful, but what if you collapse and can't reach one? Walter chose a lightweight pendant that he wears around his neck. With one press of the button, he's instantly connected to emergency services. Some models even detect falls automatically, calling for help without you needing to press anything at all. Imagine slipping in the shower and hitting your head. Without a device like this, hours might pass before help arrives. With fall detection, an alert is sent instantly. At first, Walter was reluctant to wear the device. He thought the pendant would make him feel old, as if he were admitting defeat. But his perspective changed after hearing what happened to his friend Harold, who also lived alone. Harold suffered a stroke and lay on the floor for nearly an entire day before anyone discovered him. That frightening story was enough to make Walter embrace the device, not as a symbol of weakness, but as a badge of wisdom. He realized it gave him the independence he valued because it meant he didn't have to rely on someone constantly being around. He could live alone yet never truly be unprotected. Beyond medical emergencies, Walter also created an escape plan for his home. Fires, gas leaks, or even suspicious knocks at the door can be just as dangerous as health issues. He walked through each room and asked himself, if I had to leave in 60 seconds, how would I do it? In the kitchen, he mapped the quickest path to the back door. In his bedroom, he placed a flashlight on the nightstand for power outages and kept his keys within reach. In the living room, he moved a rug that might trip him if he had to rush out quickly. These were small adjustments, but they built a strong sense of confidence. His neighbor Joe also keeps a spare key in a lockbox outside Walter's home with a security code. Only family members and emergency responders know the code. This ensures that if help needs to come, they won't waste time breaking down the door. Walter even went a step further by informing his local fire department that a senior lives alone at that address. If an emergency call ever comes from his home, responders know to act fast. Emergency readiness isn't about living in fear, it's about preparing so that you can live with peace of mind. Think of it like carrying car insurance. You don't expect to get into an accident, but you feel safer knowing you're covered if it happens. For seniors living alone, an emergency plan offers that same security. Walter's approach rested on 3 key pillars: keeping contacts accessible in multiple places, using a medical alert system for 24/7 protection, and having a clear escape plan for any situation. Once Walter put these systems in place, he felt a noticeable shift in his confidence. He said, "I don't worry as much anymore. I know that if something happens, I won't be helpless." That sense of security allowed him to enjoy his independence again instead of feeling vulnerable in his own home. The truth is, emergencies will happen. They are part of life, especially as we grow older. But being ready means they don't have to strip away your independence or dignity. You may not control when or how emergencies arrive, but you can control how prepared you are when they do. Living alone has its joys: the quiet evenings, the freedom to arrange your day as you please, the peace of solitude. But it also comes with undeniable vulnerabilities that others may overlook. Seniors who live alone are often seen as easy targets, both for burglars and for scammers who prey on trust. With the right strategies, however, your home can transform from a vulnerable target into a safe haven. Walter, the retired carpenter, experienced this firsthand. One evening, his phone rang with a caller claiming to be from his bank. The voice on the other end sounded serious and urgent. They said there had been suspicious activity on his account and asked him to confirm his personal details right away. For a brief moment, Walter felt a rush of panic. But instead of giving out information, he hung up and called his bank directly. Sure enough, there was nothing wrong. That single smart decision saved him from what could have been a devastating financial scam. He also strengthened the physical security of his home. The old, flimsy locks on his doors had been there for decades. He replaced them with sturdy, reinforced deadbolts, which immediately added significant protection. Burglars often look for the easiest target, and a strong lock is usually enough to make them move on. He then installed motion sensor lights around the house, on the front porch, the driveway, and along the sides. Now, any movement is instantly met with bright light, deterring unwanted visitors before they can even get close. Thieves thrive in darkness, but the moment light appears, they feel exposed. Installing motion sensor lights not only made Walter's property more secure, but also helped him feel more at ease when stepping outside at night. Soon after, he installed a video doorbell. This simple upgrade allowed him to see and hear anyone who came to his door without opening it. Whether it was a delivery worker, a neighbor, or a stranger, Walter could check from the comfort of his chair. For a senior living alone, this removed the uncertainty of who was on the other side and gave him invaluable peace of mind. Not every security measure requires expensive technology either. Even a fake security sign posted outside can deter criminals. Many intruders move on if they believe a home has a security system. Walter placed a small sign near his front door, and it worked as an extra layer of protection. Home security, however, is about more than just locks and lights. It also requires awareness of modern threats that seniors face daily. Scams have become as common as break-ins and are often far more costly. Scammers deliberately target older adults, believing they may be trusting or unfamiliar with new tactics. They impersonate government officials, bank representatives, or even family members in distress. Walter's friend Margaret, a 78-year-old widow, experienced this one night when she received a call from someone claiming to be her grandson. The caller said he had been in an accident and urgently needed money wired to him. His voice was muffled, the story sounded emotional, and the pressure was high. Margaret almost sent the money, but something made her pause. She called her daughter to confirm and quickly discovered that her grandson was safe at home. That moment of hesitation saved her thousands of dollars. To protect himself, Walter adopted a simple rule: he never shares personal or financial information over the phone, especially during unexpected calls. If any company or agency truly needs details, he insists on calling them back using a verified number. This small habit became one of his strongest defenses against scams. He also created what he called his trusted person plan. He chose a nearby nephew as his go-to contact whenever something seemed suspicious. Whether it was a strange email, a phone call, or a questionable contractor at the door, Walter would consult his nephew first. Having a trusted person to verify situations prevented costly mistakes and gave him constant reassurance. Security also extended to Walter's daily habits. He made it a rule to keep his doors locked at all times, even when he was home. He stopped hiding spare keys under mats or flower pots, common places intruders check first. Instead, he used a secure lockbox with a code shared only with close family and trusted neighbors. Awareness became part of his routine. He no longer ignored strange noises outside or dismissed unfamiliar cars parked nearby. Instead, he stayed alert, took notes, and, when needed, spoke with his neighbor Joe for reassurance. Living alone meant he had to be his own first line of defense, but with preparation, he never felt powerless. Crime prevention research supports Walter's approach. Burglars are far less likely to target homes that show visible signs of security. Motion lights, strong locks, and cameras act as powerful deterrents. Similarly, scammers are less successful when seniors know common tricks and follow simple verification rules. The greatest benefit of improved home security is not just in preventing crime, it's in restoring peace of mind. Walter once admitted that before these changes, nights made him uneasy. Every creak in the house and every unexpected phone ring triggered anxiety. But after upgrading his locks, installing lights, and making a plan for suspicious calls, he slept more soundly. He didn't just feel safer, he felt stronger, more in control, and more capable of protecting himself. Home security, ultimately, is not only about keeping others out, it's about nurturing your own confidence. Seniors deserve to live in freedom, not fear, and with the right precautions, home can remain the safe haven it's meant to be. Falls, on the other hand, are the silent enemy of independence. For older adults, a single misstep on a loose rug, a slippery bathroom floor, or a dim hallway can change everything in an instant. Every year, millions of seniors end up in emergency rooms due to falls, and many never fully recover. What makes this especially concerning is that most falls happen right at home, the very place where we should feel safest. The encouraging truth is that most falls are preventable through practical adjustments in the home, daily habits, and even the way we move. Walter, a retired carpenter, learned this lesson after a frightening incident. One ordinary afternoon, he was walking from his living room to the kitchen when his foot caught on a loose rug. In a split second, he fell hard to the floor, struggling to breathe from the shock. Thankfully, his injuries were minor, but the experience shook him deeply. He said, "I've lived in this house for years, and it never occurred to me that something as simple as a rug could send me to the hospital. That moment became a turning point. Walter realized he needed to make his home safer and his body stronger. The first step he took was making practical home modifications. These weren't expensive renovations, just small, smart changes that lowered his risk overnight. He installed sturdy grab bars in the bathroom, beside the toilet, and inside the shower. He replaced dim hallway and staircase bulbs with bright, energy-efficient ones, making it easier to see at night. He cleared pathways of clutter, secured rugs with non-slip backing, and tucked away loose cords to prevent tripping. These simple actions gave him greater confidence as he moved around his home and significantly reduced his risk of falling. Feel exposed. Walter understood this well. Installing bright motion sensor lights around his property didn't just keep intruders away, it also gave him peace of mind whenever he stepped outside at night. Next, he added a video doorbell. This simple device allowed him to see and hear anyone who approached his door, right from the comfort of his chair. Delivery workers, neighbors, or strangers, he no longer had to guess who was knocking. For a senior living alone, this brought a sense of safety and control. Even small upgrades made a difference. A fake security sign by his front door acted as a deterrent, as many criminals avoid homes that appear protected. But security goes beyond lights and locks, it's also about staying alert to modern threats. Scams are now as dangerous as break-ins, and older adults are often targeted because scammers assume they are more trusting. They impersonate officials, bank staff, or relatives in distress to manipulate their victims. Walter's friend Margaret, a 78-year-old widow, once received a late-night call from someone pretending to be her grandson. The caller claimed he'd been in an accident and needed money urgently. His voice was muffled, and the story was rushed to create panic. Margaret almost sent the money, but she paused to call her daughter. That quick decision saved her thousands of dollars. Walter protected himself by following one strict rule: he never shared personal or financial details over the phone during unexpected calls. If an organization truly needed information, he called them back using verified contact numbers. This simple habit became one of his strongest defenses against scams. He also developed what he called his trusted person plan. He asked his nearby nephew to double-check anything suspicious, from emails and phone calls to unexpected visitors. Having someone reliable to verify situations gave him confidence and helped him avoid costly mistakes. He also tightened his daily security habits. Doors were locked at all times, even when he was home. Spare keys were no longer hidden under mats or flower pots. Instead, he used a coded lockbox shared only with family and trusted neighbors. He became more observant of his surroundings, no longer ignoring strange noises or unfamiliar cars. Instead of feeling vulnerable, he felt prepared. Studies in crime prevention support this approach. Burglars avoid homes with visible lights, strong locks, and cameras, while scammers fail more often when seniors know their tricks and take steps to verify. The biggest benefit, however, was psychological. After making these changes, Walter said he slept better. Each creak of the house no longer filled him with unease. Home security, for him, became less about fear and more about taking back control. Falls were another danger Walter took seriously. One ordinary afternoon, he tripped on a loose rug and fell in his kitchen. Though he wasn't badly injured, the shock was enough to change his mindset. He began modifying his home to make it safer. Grab bars were installed in the bathroom, dim bulbs were replaced with bright energy-efficient lighting, rugs were secured with non-slip backing, and pathways were cleared. By removing hidden hazards, Walter transformed his house from an obstacle course into a safe space. Psychologists call this risk reduction through environment design. It's about shaping your surroundings to work for your safety instead of relying solely on vigilance. Strengthening his body was equally important. Walter's doctor reminded him, weak legs lead to falls. Aging naturally reduces muscle strength and balance, but regular movement can reverse much of that decline. Walter began with just 5 minutes of simple exercises daily: chair stands to build leg power, heel-to-toe walks to sharpen balance, and ankle rolls for flexibility. Over time, these small efforts boosted his confidence and stability. Many seniors, after a fall, move less out of fear. This only makes muscles weaker and future falls more likely. Walter broke that cycle by moving a little more each day, training both his body and his mind to feel capable again. He also prepared for emergencies. Phones were placed strategically in every room, and he wore a lightweight medical alert pendant with fall detection. Most importantly, he practiced getting up from the floor safely, rolling onto his side, sitting slowly, then rising carefully. Geriatric specialists emphasize that confidence during recovery matters as much as physical strength. Seniors who believe they can handle a fall respond better and panic less. Preventing falls isn't just about avoiding injury, it's about preserving independence. A single hip fracture can mean months of rehab and loss of freedom. But with environmental changes, stronger muscles, and a clear plan, risks drop dramatically. Research shows seniors who combine these methods cut their fall risk by nearly half, and they report feeling more confident in everyday life. Walter now sees fall prevention as independence insurance. Every grab bar, every exercise, every intentional step gives him more years of living life on his terms. Social connection was the final piece. Living alone doesn't have to mean living in isolation, but many older adults slowly slip into loneliness. Studies show that chronic isolation can harm health as much as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It raises the risk of depression, heart disease, dementia, and early death. Walter once believed solitude suited him. After his wife passed, he told himself he enjoyed the quiet. But over time, he noticed his energy dipping, sleep becoming restless, and days stretching endlessly. He went days without talking to anyone. The TV filled the silence but couldn't replace real human interaction. What he was feeling wasn't just sadness, it was the creeping weight of isolation. Humans are wired for connection. Social interaction releases hormones like oxytocin and serotonin that keep our brains and bodies balanced. Without them, mental and physical health decline. Walter's journey showed that safety, strength, and connection work together to create a life that's not just secure, but fulfilling. Fatigue, anxiety, and even memory loss can quietly creep in when meaningful connections are missing. Neurologists emphasize that real conversations exercise the brain in ways puzzles and games simply cannot. Talking with others requires quick thinking, emotional interpretation, and memory recall, making it one of the most powerful forms of mental stimulation. The encouraging news is that social health can be rebuilt, just like physical health, through small, deliberate steps. Walter's turning point began with something simple. One afternoon at the hardware store, he bumped into an old friend who invited him to a local woodworking club. At first, Walter hesitated. It had been years since he'd joined any group, and he worried he might feel out of place. But curiosity pushed him to try. That one decision transformed his life. The woodworking club became more than a hobby, it became a lifeline. The shared laughter, the pride of finished projects, and the joy of conversations reminded him of what he'd been missing. He didn't need to be surrounded by people constantly, he just needed a reliable circle of connection. His mood lifted, his mind sharpened, and even his physical health improved because he had reasons to stay active and engaged. There are countless ways to build these bonds, even if it has been years since you've tried. Many seniors rediscover community through hobby groups, fitness classes, or activities at senior centers. Others reconnect through faith-based communities, where shared values naturally build friendships. Volunteering is another meaningful way to reduce isolation while adding purpose to your days. For those who prefer staying home, technology now opens doors to connection. Video calls with family, online book clubs, and virtual discussion groups can bring conversation to your living room with a single click. One key psychological principle is the first move effect. Waiting for others to reach out often leads to disappointment, not because people don't care, but because everyone is busy with their own lives. Taking the first step, making a call, attending a group, or sending an invitation, often unlocks opportunities for meaningful relationships. Seniors who take initiative usually find that others were waiting too, just unsure how to start. Quality matters more than quantity. A single deep, meaningful relationship offers more support and joy than a dozen shallow interactions. Walter didn't need a large social circle, he just needed a few people he could laugh with, share stories with, and trust. Psychologists call this the anchor relationship, a bond that provides stability and emotional safety even during uncertain times. Social connection is not only about emotional well-being, it's also a layer of safety. Friends and neighbors often notice changes before crises happen. A missed appointment, unusual behavior, or signs of illness are picked up more quickly when someone is paying attention. These informal networks act as protective nets, catching problems early. Seniors who nurture such networks are strengthening both their happiness and their security. Walter's transformation is a clear reminder: staying socially connected is one of the most powerful ways to remain safe, independent, and mentally sharp while living alone. His days are no longer long and empty. He looks forward to woodworking club meetings, weekly calls with his daughter, and dinners with neighbors. His life feels richer, not because it's louder, but because it's shared. The lesson is simple: isolation is a risk, but connection is a choice. Every call you make, every visit you accept, every group you join is an investment in your health and future. Seniors who choose connection discover deeper joy, sharper minds, and greater resilience. Ask yourself, when was the last time you truly connected with someone face-to-face, voice-to-voice, heart-to-heart? If it's been too long, take one small step today. Join a class. Call a neighbor. Say yes to an invitation. That one step could open a new chapter filled with laughter, purpose, and strength. Aging alone may sound daunting, but it doesn't have to mean being unsafe or unprepared. The 5 strategies we've explored: daily check-ins, emergency readiness, stronger home security, fall prevention, and social connection, can turn vulnerability into strength. Each step may seem simple on its own, but together they form a powerful shield that protects both independence and peace of mind. If you live alone, remember that independence doesn't mean isolation. Support systems and safety nets are within reach when you choose to build them. And if you have a parent, neighbor, or friend living alone, you can make a meaningful difference with one call, one visit, or one act of kindness. Ask yourself, which of these 5 steps will you begin today? Will you create a check-in plan, strengthen emergency contacts, upgrade security, build balance, or reach out to reconnect? The choice you make today can shape your tomorrow. Thank you for spending time with us. We'd love to hear from you. Share in the comments what you learned and how you plan to use it in your life. Your feedback inspires us to keep creating meaningful content. If you found this helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue informing and inspiring others. We look forward to seeing you in the next video.